So, cheers,
Cheers.
Sheila. Thanks for coming down.
Yes, thanks for having me.
Made it to the end of the road,
I did.
which is a fun journey. It's been fun to get to know you and have you in town.
It was great to be here.
I think it's been good. It was one of the fun things about having Done in One is that we get to meet a lot of people from all over the country, and I think people would probably be interested to find out that we actually see people from all over the place. You in particular from New Jersey, you've made the trip and gone through the experience, and so we're just here to kind of say congrats to being done and finding more about how you chose us, how you decided to come down, what the experience was like, and those kind of things.
Sure. Yeah, I mean, I did a lot of research, and I'm happy to be at the end of the road of this journey, and it's been an incredible experience. One of the reasons I picked to come see you was your reputation. I wanted a good surgeon, I wanted good products, I wanted someone who stands behind his work, and every other company that I researched just didn't provide that. So that was my number one selling option, and it's been a pleasure to be down here and to have this beautiful smile. It's changed my life. So
to kind of go into that, so how did you find, you say reputation, how did you find us? How did you
I joined support groups on Facebook. I just researched different people's posts. I researched different areas of the country. Of course, traveling at first was, do I want to travel? I probably want to stay close to home. But at the end of the day, like, quality and reputation mattered more. Traveling would be easy when at the end of the day I wanted the whole experience to be good. I wanted my smile to be perfect.
Yeah.
I wanted the surgery to go great. So when it came down to it, that was more important than having it done in my backyard. So
what was the nail in the coffin, per se? What was the thing that put you over the edge?
Everyone at your company was, you for one, I did extensive, wanted to know how many cases you did and all that, but your whole staff was so accommodating and very responsive. Anytime I messaged them or called, they always got back to me, and they were just like, anything that you need, we're here for you, and we want this experience to be good for you. And that, I felt like the service was incredible. I wasn't just another patient coming in, and I wasn't treated that way, and that far exceeded staying in my backyard. I went and consulted to New Jersey. The cost was ridiculous, and they didn't have the experience. Maybe they did a couple a year, but they did nothing compared to what you had done, and that's what I wanted, because your skill set was really good. Everyone from, the staff, everyone I was in contact with, just anything I needed. And I know I was a little bit over, I wanted every little, well, what about this? And I watched the webinar, and the website just had great content, and I was able to check all my boxes of everything that I was looking for.
And would you say that was able to kind of be held, that communication was able to be kind of held throughout your experience, or did you find that to be the case as you went through the whole thing, or?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. Anyone I text, in the office or called, everyone got back to me. There was no wondering or waiting, or they were on top of it. So that was important to me too. Because it's a traumatic, thing, that it's an emotional decision. It's so many factors. There's so many variables that come into play when you're deciding to do that, and it's a little scary for you as a patient.
Absolutely.
And I wasn't nervous at all. And that was from the whole experience from you to your staff, and it was just amazing.
So I remember that first conversation we had.
Yes.
I think I spoke to you before you came down, and you had spoken to our staff a couple of times. But one thing that was really interesting in that conversation was, and what was kind of cool was, you're a sales rep for
Yes.
A big company, Medtronic, and so it was cool to sort of be able to speak a little bit deeper with you, because you had done a lot of research, and so I was able to kind of converse with you about a little bit more nitty-gritty than I normally would, and that was kind of fun to have that interaction. But tell me about you come from from an interesting angle, because you do this for a living, not in the same field, but you do sales device rep, and so what was the thing that kind of struck you out the most, being that you have this background in sales and being in the medical world? What was the thing that sort of that kind of convinced you from that side of things?
Well, I would definitely say, coming from that background in medical device, one of my products is for hemostasis. So, but I didn't know too much about, well, how much bleeding is going to be, with the procedure, or how vascular. So I know I had more, like you said, more questions than the average person, but you answered all those questions. And I didn't have any concerns because I work in the operating room and I'm in medical device, and I'm selling to neurosurgeons, spine, orthopedic, and brain surgeons, cardiac surgeons. I've seen all different types of surgeries, and that was so important to me, that the surgical part and that the skill set, but it was just the whole combination that just you answered every question I had, and I know I had a lot of questions, so.
It's a big surgery.
Right.
It's a big thing to undertake, and so questions happen.
Yeah.
It's something that you want to make the patient feel better about, because there are going to be questions,
Right.
and they're going to be random ones, and there's going to be the same ones over and over, but every patient's different, and so that's kind of an interesting thing
Right.
for me to see, is we see a lot of different people come from a lot of different backgrounds and ask different types of questions, and so that's kind of an interesting scenario.
And I what I liked, your webinar, I was able to ask questions and get answers to those too, but then speak to you personally, which doesn't always happen. And I did reach out to other places because I was doing a comparison on everything, and the responsiveness, the follow-up, the service, they weren't letting me speak to the surgeon, the dentist. That's not even a part of it. You just
Right.
meet them the day you get there, and
Yeah.
that wasn't my experience with you guys. So that, from soup to nuts, from the beginning to the end, that's what really sold me, that this is a solid decision. I don't care if I have to fly to Hawaii to
Yeah.
see you. I wanted you to.
Maybe we
wanted you
should
to do
we
it.
should move to Hawaii.
Exactly.
So, going back to you and I spoke about this the other day. When anybody's making a decision for any surgery, it's really hard to look past the smoke and mirrors and the
Right.
really nice scenery and the great, well put together marketing videos. That person may not know what they're doing. They
Right.
may be the best in the field, and it's really hard as a consumer to really weed that out, both in your field and in ours. And that's something that's very difficult for us to kind of overcome.
Right.
And it's very hard. We work very hard to make sure that we put all the pieces together, that we make sure that we have a good marketing message, but that we also have the product that backs behind that,
Right.
and the stories from the patients behind it.
Sure.
One of the most exciting things for me is to be able to be here and share a drink with you and talk to you about what your experience was like, and have it be a positive thing. And every case, I'm trying to get you a better smile,
Right.
the patient a better smile than I have myself. And unfortunately, in this case, I think we succeeded. I think you're the one with the best smile in this table. So I am very proud of the way that your teeth turned out.
Thanks.
Tell me a little bit about how your teeth affected you before coming here, and maybe sort of your driving force on why you would want to get this procedure done in the first place.
Sure.
And then maybe a little bit about how that has affected maybe your job or family life or anything like that.
Well, for starters, I'm being in medical device sales, and I'm calling on surgeons, and I'm dealing with coordinators or C-level people, down to the OR staff. The smile is the first thing you see, and I've spent the better part of my life in pictures with showing no teeth or covering my mouth, and I was very self-conscious. Genetically, there's a factor, but also, when I was about 26, I was in a car accident, and I had to get most of my top teeth crowned, and my teeth aesthetically weren't the right size. I have a very narrow palate, so I also knew I was a little bit of a complicated case because I'm not the average person, so
Right.
that's a little bit more difficult when you don't have the room to work with.
Yeah.
But it completely changed my life, so because I had those crowns for about 15, maybe 17 years, but then they started fracturing, and then I was wearing, a bridge, and it's uncomfortable, and I couldn't date. I couldn't, I was so self-conscious and, I'm in front of people and the first thing people see is your smile. And now it literally, it did. It changed my life.
I'm going to interrupt you for a second.
Sure.
Was there a moment where you said, Sheila, this is it. I'm done. I'm getting this done? Or was it a gradual thing where you sort of started to make this decision, you kind of played around with the idea, you had to get over the hump of like going to see a dentist and starting the research? Or was there a minute where you were like sitting at the pool or, sitting at a meeting and going, you know what, this is the last minute I'm going to deal with this?
I definitely took a little bit of time to I wanted to do it. I looked into different options, but I was also just afraid to kind of take that step. So
sure.
Gradually, then I said, I need to do this for myself. I need to love myself enough to really take care of this because it's not getting any better.
Yeah.
I think, you worry about financially, how am I going to do this? And I just figured it out. I mean, where there's a will, there's a way. You can always make it happen, but it's an investment in you. And that's how I looked at it. I'm investing in myself and my appearance, and that's in my health.
Yeah.
Health was a concern too, because it's, having, not enough teeth. I couldn't eat properly. There was so many things that you don't realize how much it affects your life until after you, now I realize I can chew food, I can smile in pictures, I can laugh with my mouth open, and no one's gonna, I don't have to cover myself, and it's, but it did take me a little bit to figure it out, but once you do, if I can make it happen, anyone can make it happen. It really did change my life. I mean, leading up to it, trying to decide who to go to, what was my best option, should I stay close to home if there's some adverse event, you think about those things.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, the quality and the care was more important to me. I can hop on a plane and get it taken care of. Just because I go in my backyard doesn't mean that quality is going to be good or that they know what they're doing.
Right.
Because what if they put it in and I don't have enough bone, and they don't give me a bone graft, or they put it in the wrong spot? I even looked in other countries because it was cheaper.
Yeah.
And my best friend's an anesthesiologist, and she really talked me out of it. She goes, other countries' standard of care is, you might pay half the price, but are they sterilizing the instruments properly? What implants are they choosing? Are they sustainable? What's the quality of the skill set of the surgeon that's going to be doing it? What is your care going to look like? What if something happens to you in another country? Are you going to go to the local hospital? You can, it can really be a bad,
We see a lot of patients, and this is a sort of a touchy subject, because when we talk about patients going to other countries, as a professional, our first reaction is always, don't do it, they're terrible, they'll mess you up. And it's hard to say that because that's your visceral reaction.
Right.
But you shouldn't just jump to nobody else can do it. I mean, certainly other countries can do it.
Right.
But if you look at the majority of the cases, I mean, there's a lot that walk into my door that tried to save the money, that went to a different country, that now have spent their life savings on getting that done, and now to fix it is double or more, and you have this patient that has invested everything into this failure, this mess, because they were misguided in going, and it's a really tough place to get stuck in as a professional here, because you want to tell nobody go to a different country and get done. But at the same time, you can't say that nobody else can do it in the world. I mean, there's certainly places that can. And so striking that balance that is okay with the community, where the message still is, listen, you have to know that the person that you're going to knows what they're doing before you go. Don't just go on money, because if you do that and you come back, it's going to cost you a whole lot more. And if you've sunk in your whole life savings in it, it can be a really big disaster.
I know, and I was afraid of that. I was afraid of, I'm putting so much money into this, and the cheapest option isn't always the best option. Sometimes you get what you pay for. So, and that, I did go to another country, exactly what you said, what if they didn't do a good job, and standard of care, what is that going to be like? And then in the end result, I might end up paying triple the amount, and then somebody else, you can only do so much if you're taking care of trying to fix somebody else's work that wasn't really a good skill.
It's really tough. It gets pinched.
Then there's only so much you could do.
Right.
And that was my concern too, was these are implants. It's got to fuse with my bones. It needs to be placement needs to be the right way.
Yeah.
I love that you didn't just do the 4, that you did more to 5. And so for me too, that felt like it was more stability, and I was more anchored, and I wouldn't have to worry about any of that, you know.
So price is a big thing for people, and we. Although our procedure is not inexpensive by any means, we never would say that. Comparatively to the market, the private dentists, and then other people in the market, we're significantly less expensive. Was that anything alarming to you? Did that play into your factor? I mean, obviously, money is money, and so the less expensive option is always going to be a little bit more attractive.
Right.
But did that concern you at all, that we were that much less than competitors in the world?
No, because I understand that's all what you do. Most places I went to in my area, like I'm right outside of New York City, Manhattan, and Jersey, they only did a certain amount of cases a year. So, but their price was double your price.
Right.
So at first, it was just, to me, why am I going to pay more for something when I can come and this is all you do?
Right.
So the more you do, the better you're going to
Right,
be at it.
of course.
So like you have your experience backing you up where they didn't. So I felt like it was a crapshoot. I'm going to pay more money for. So that didn't concern me because it still was like, it wasn't so low that I was like, is there something going on? It was still a good amount, but I looked at it in terms too of, you can lease a car, you're going to buy a car, you're going to spend that amount. If it's perspective, right? You have to put, if you go out, if you just don't go out, or you cut certain things out, you can make it happen.
Yeah.
You had to make it a priority, and it became a priority for me, that I was like, I don't care what else I do or don't have, like, sacrifice, do what you can. I took out a loan, and I'm paying that off, and so I know that anyone can do it if I can do it, because I still have student loans,
Right.
I still have a car payment, I still am a single mom, even though my daughter's a little bit older. But because in the end too, how is your teeth going to affect your heart and your health, and how much are you going to pay if you don't have your health?
Right.
And that was really a big factor too, because aesthetically you want to be able to smile and feel good, but when you feel good, you do better. Like, I won President's Club this past year at work, and I really attribute
Cheers
it.
to that.
Cheers. I attribute that to, like, I feel so much better about myself, and I have this smile that I haven't been able to smile like this in over 20 years. So that, I don't know, I just did even better at work, and I'm like, that's amazing, because it's just.
So tell me about what you have coming on, because you've won President's Club. What does that mean?
So I won like a long-term achievement award. So I won a whole bunch of stocks in my company. I won a trip to Hawaii, trophies, awards.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
And when do you go to Hawaii?
The end of September.
And have you ever been to Hawaii?
No. And now I get to show off my beautiful
Now
smile.
you get to show off your beautiful smile.
So I'm happy about
When
it.
you look at the mirror and you look at Sheila, how has that image changed from before you met us and now?
Well, now I feel like my outside, like my smile matches my inside, because I felt like I'm this, energetic and vibrant person, but my smile didn't match that, because it affected my confidence. I worried about my health. So you have more anxiety, and honestly, leading up to it is more stressful than actually just doing it.
Yeah.
Doing it, you're like, okay, it wasn't as bad as I thought it was going to be.
Yeah.
And going through the process and getting the results, it's so exciting that you just feel better, and that energy transmits to the people in your life and your job, and I'm proof of that. I'm proof of that. I've been with my company, and this is a couple years, and this is the first time I won President's Club. So I
great.
definitely attribute it to, like, I just feel good, I look good, I have a good smile. When people meet me and the surgeons, they feel that too. So I'm not covering my mouth anymore, or afraid to laugh or smile. So,
Right. Absolutely.
Yeah.
And so tell me, you're talking about, that moment when you have a smile now to match your inside, which is fantastic. At what point would you say in the process was your favorite moment? Right? Was it the moment you first saw the first set of teeth? Was it getting the last set of teeth? Was it just the decision to come down and be done with this and finish things? Like, where did you find sort of your happiest place in this journey?
I can definitely say when I got my first set of temporaries, I was missing a lot of back teeth, and that's why my crowns failed, because I had to chew with my front teeth. I've had digestive issues because I wasn't chewing my food properly for years. And so having the temporaries put in and just seeing a whole set of teeth and that I could eat.
And they were stuck in there?
And that they were, they were there, and
Right.
they weren't leaving, they weren't coming out, it felt really good.
That's
I
awesome.
remember the first selfie I took,
Right.
and I sent it to my friends, and they're like, you're so happy, and you
Yeah.
look so good. You look so good. And it's so natural, nobody would ever know. No one would ever know.
Have you ever
So-
had anybody ask you,
Nope.
other than you telling them?
No, they just give a beautiful smile.
Yeah.
I said, thank you. They have no idea.
That's
you can't
fantastic.
tell. Yeah. But definitely, sorry.
No, it's fine.
Definitely now getting these, the final, I didn't think I could get happier about my smile, and I'm so happy.
Yeah.
The color, you guys have all been amazing. It's just, it couldn't been any better. I couldn't have been more happy with my whole decision, the whole process. There was never a moment where I questioned, what am I doing? Why did I do this? I'm not happy.
And I was going to ask you that, if there was ever a moment when you said, oh boy, I don't think I did this the right way.
No, because honestly, even right after, and not having to heal before you get your first temporaries, I didn't have much, I had about 13 teeth left, and that didn't even affect me as much as I thought that was going to be hurt, oh God, just because you're attached as part of you, but it wasn't serving me, and I didn't feel as bad as I thought I was, but as soon as I got those temps in, I was, it just felt...
It all washed away.
It all washed away.
And this also kind of goes back to the traveling. You're a unique patient because you've actually made the trip down to South Florida a couple times to get finished up. And so, I think a lot of people have nervousness about, if I travel to go get surgery, I'm not going to be at home. I'm not going to have my own special recipes. I'm not going to have my own television, and I know how things work there. What was that experience like when you were healing in sort of a foreign space? Was that tough to get over? Was that a consideration for you? Did you have any issues with that?
I did think about it at, the beginning, but it was great. I was in the hotel. I brought everything that I needed, ice packs, anything that I would need to have in the healing process, I brought with me. So I made sure, I stayed at a hotel that was close to a supermarket or anything that I needed. But it was totally fine. I didn't feel like I need to be in my own bed.
Right.
I'm not home. A friend came with me, so that was good. If I needed anything. But just the experience of checking up on me, and the staff texting and calling, the follow-up was great. I didn't feel like I just came and I was gone and that was it. I felt from anything of if you need anything, if you need us to call on anything, if you want to know places to eat, anything, the whole experience was great. And then after the surgery, being able to go out, it was great because I'm down here in South Florida, and it's I could go to the beach.
Absolutely.
And I could, a couple days later, I could go to the beach and enjoy, or go to the pool, and
Which was my next question,
Yeah.
which was, you coming down here, were you able to enjoy it at all? You did come in the cooler months of where you live,
Yes.
from up north, so were you able to enjoy your time down
did.
here? And it wasn't all, I guess the point to make is, when you come down and you're going to come down for surgery, that's, it's a big undertaking, and there's definitely some pain and some recovery involved. But I guess what's going to be interesting for people to find out is that maybe you're able to somewhat enjoy your time down here. It wasn't all work, business, and pain. There was some enjoyment and lifestyle there as well.
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. I went to the pool. It was still warm enough to go to the pool. I went to the beach one day. I was unsure if I was going to be able to do those things, but I was fine. So, this is great. I mean, the weather was still beautiful compared to where I live. It was
Right.
cold, So and anything that I needed, you and your staff were just like, oh, here's, gave me ideas of places or even recommendations on hotels. And I mean, I didn't have to do all that research either. Well, where do I go eat, or where's the local, drugstore? Or,
Yeah.
What do I do? I had the numbers, I had all the information, so it was an easy process. So it's the next best thing besides being home in your own bed.
Yeah.
It was.
That's
and it's
fantastic.
beautiful down here. So I would do it all over again in a heartbeat.
That's so
a million
awesome
times
to hear,
over.
for
Yeah.
sure. It's very rewarding because I put my heart and soul into this business and try to continue to build it and make it be that, right?
Right.
The whole idea is you live in a great space. You've done a lot of these cases. The location for the office
Right.
is in a great space. So why not make it great for patients and make the whole experience good for everybody involved? And it's wonderful to kind of talk to you and kind of get that feedback from you and know that your time wasn't just, oh, I got stuck in a dental office and then they
Right.
threw me back into an airplane and I came back, and it's nice to hear that you were
Yeah.
able to enjoy your time.
Exactly. I mean, and I've spent the better part of my life in the dentist chair. It wasn't like I just didn't go to the dentist. It's just, I always had something, and I always just felt like nobody. Like they just didn't really care, and I didn't feel that with you. I didn't feel that with your staff. I felt like everyone wanted me to be happy. Like I felt so special.
Yeah.
Even though I'm also just another patient, but like you treat all your patients with such respect, and it's hard when you have teeth problems and you worry, like people judge you, they do, and I understand that, but I didn't feel that way at all. Like even when I had to send pictures of before and without some of my missing teeth, no one made me feel bad.
Right.
I didn't feel where other places I would feel embarrassed or judged, and I didn't feel that way.
Yeah.
So I love that, but I also love just being down here and feeling like you don't get that anywhere. You really don't. You don't get that because you have multiple patients, but you don't get that experience that you're being treated like you're special and we're going to take care of you and you're in good hands. And being in the OR and working with surgeons and seeing a lot, that's so important. And I felt that and I knew that when I met you, when I did talk to your staff,
and I can't tell you how much that means to me. You and I have never had this conversation before, so it's
Yeah.
really awesome to have you actually say those things, because it's something that we work, like I said before, we work very hard at getting that kind of experience. And when I've made the commitment to pretty much go into this exclusively, into doing done-in-one and hybrids and sleeping and breathing,
Right.
full mouth reconstruction, you're giving up a big part of your income. You're giving up a
Right.
big part of what is going to be there, the smaller cases, the different things. And so you stress and you concern yourself about, am I making the right decision?
Right.
And in speaking to you, no doubt I have, because we want, in narrowing down the spectrum to what our cases are going to be, you are saying, okay, I'm going to devote a lot more attention and time to those cases, and I'm going to make sure that patient feels good about it.
Right.
Now, the flip side of it is you have a hard time finding those patients and you don't get to eat that month. But it's really awesome to be here at this point and have felt that, uncoaxed or not having discussed it before. You having felt that is really cool, because it is something that we actively strive for. We want you to feel, when you make the decision, this is a huge decision.
Yeah.
Not only financially, not only in pain, but also you've made the decision even bigger to go above and beyond and say, look, I've done enough research that I'm sure enough in my decision that I'm going to travel a lot of miles to come to come see these guys. You're putting a lot into us, and so we want to make you feel like you are an active part of our lives and our schedule here, and it's really cool to have both of those things sort of meet up and be able to hear that and see that that things are working, that things are moving in the right direction for us.
Absolutely. And another thing that really sold me too was that how highly your staff speaks of you means everything, because you're only as good as your employees too, you know.
Yeah.
And I know that firsthand. You know, I have, like, my manager at work is just, he's a good human being, and the way that your staff spoke about you and how they admired you and how amazing you are, and it wasn't BS. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, it was real. It was coming from a place of, like, that's how they really felt and how much they loved what they did.
Right.
And how much you love what you do. And I was like, wow, you don't see that. You don't see that in a lot of places. So that spoke for itself. So when you have happy employees, you know, like, I know you were doing something right. And that, because it was that aspect too of, like, a human connection of, like, someone being not just a good surgeon and dentist and being able to do a surgery good, but, like, they care and they have that empathy and understanding, and they want to connect with you, and they want you to have a good experience, and they want you to be happy. Like, that meant a lot to me. So I saw that, like, full circle with all your staff. So that too was like, wow, like, just amazing things to say about you, how much they love their job, like, that you invest in them and spend time with them even outside of work. I was like, oh my God, that's awesome. And like, that they're appreciated. So that, like, I appreciated that
That's
part
really
too.
cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, whenever we bring somebody on board, I always have a discussion with them and say, look, this is what I think that the job is going to be for you. This is where I think you're going to fit.
Right.
But if you're not happy, then I don't want you in that job. I want to find something that works for you, that makes you happy, that makes you feel that we're doing something special, right? If you like to, you know, put together certain packages for patients, or be the one that answers the phones and answers the calls and the questions, then let's find a way to make you in that position. And so we try to kind of from the top down get that everybody buys in mentality, and get everybody to really appreciate and know that they're doing a part of the job that they not only enjoy, but is also adding some benefit to the patient. So it's really cool to hear as well. Like,
yeah, definitely.
Your overall experience there.
Thank you. It's crazy to say, but, like, I was excited to come down here after, like, that experience. Even, I mean, I would text Michael at, like, night on the weekends. I mean, he would always answer me. So, like, that, you know, and Nick and everyone, Linda, everyone's just been so amazing. And it was just personable, and it's been great. Like, I just couldn't, and he was excited to go have dental work. I would never say that ever, because I would get so much anxiety going to dentists that at one point I'm like, I don't even want to go anymore, because, like, they're just going to mess me up even more, because that was my experience.
They're going to give me bad news. They're going to screw me up. They're going to cost me money.
Then I'm going to have to go see somebody else, and it's just like this constant. But I was like, this is good. This is good. Like, I think it's really going to be, and it was. It far exceeded my expectations, even. You know. Well,
I can say for sure that the feeling is mutual. We've really enjoyed you as a patient. Again, like I said before, you know, every time we start with a patient, from the first phone call to this visit, we always are striving to give people better teeth than we have ourselves, and I think unanimously and easily, you definitely, like I said, have the best smile at the table. So thank you for coming and visiting us and taking the time to talk about this. And you know, we've really enjoyed you as a patient. We've enjoyed seeing your smile, getting to know you better, and really appreciate the time that you've taken to give this insight to future patients.
Of course. I would do it over in a heartbeat.
We definitely appreciate everything you've done.
Thank you.
So, thank you, Sheila.